The Coffee and the Company Podcast Season 2.
When's your birthday? Oh, today is your birthday?
That's why I'm having a day off. So technically, I didn't want to work today, so I won't consider this as work.
I think it's very special. The last time you guys were here, her birthday, your wife's birthday.
Yeah.
Today is your birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank
Here's
you.
your birthday espresso.
Thank you.
But anyway, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to adjust my mic for a
is
while.
spent with Barista Experience Academy.
Yeah, this
Interesting.
it's very meaningful. Very meaningful to me. And also, I'm going to tell you this. Whatever your favorite, just now you told me, right, is my wife's highlight. During the lockdown, she make a lot of cakes, butter cakes, and also chiffon cake as well. Banana chiffon cake especially. So she has a lot of fans on this. She learned her bakery from the basic cakes. Yeah, so, and also you came for during your birthday.
Yeah.
You guys came during Felicia's birthday, and today you came during your birthday. It's very meaningful.
You know, she's always going to pull my ears already. Why are we spending my birthday at work? I wouldn't consider this work because I think this is a matter that is very dear to me and also for the whole industry as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do this as work.
Yeah.
But more like what we want to change.
Yeah. Understand. And you're here for a purpose as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And thanks for coming. Thanks for really glad that you're here. And ever since I know you, right, I think we are connected to very special friends. I know you from a mutual friends of friends, which is Ken. And I know Ken from Joshua. Joshua also a very dear friend to me, my classmate. I know him since 16. So he brought Thor to me, Pito, from Bangkok, right? And then along the way, Pito brought Ken because Ken is his golf mate of Royal Golf Club,
Yeah.
right? So and then this is how we connected. And Ken brought you for dinner.
Yeah,
and
4
asked
people,
me,
right?
Yeah, also asked us to come out. Asked me to come out. He called me up and do you know Coffex? I don't know, but I want to know him. He's a
Right.
very important person.
That was the first time I had dinner invited by Ken for dinner.
Oh, this is the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for coming, man. I've been dreaming for this. I'll let you know, full disclosure, I've been wanted to invite you for a podcast for longest time. Because you're, in terms of, in this industry, you're a very admirable person. In terms of ethic, work ethic, businessman, and in terms of how you driven the industry. Yeah. So ever since I met you, I know you're a very humble guy. And I always wanted to have you in my podcast, but do not have a right reason, do not have a right connection between me and you to really start off this conversation. But I never give up.
Yeah, but time
But still-
I think time itself I think brought us together. I think if you have maybe asked me to do a podcast about a year ago,
Yeah.
it's a complete different mindset. It's a complete different thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
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 So I think this time, this particular day, would be, I would say, perfect
Yeah.
to do this.
Because you're like, right now, you're heavily promoting your new baby brand,
Yeah.
Origine.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of admirable passion. Not just from me, but I tell you this, Pito, my dear friend, Pinat, my Thai friends, right? When I introduced you to them, when they had a conversation with you, right? For someone like you, do not need to be this passionate anymore. According to them. According to their friends who are huge player, who are like industry leaders, they do not have the fire anymore. That's why Pito and Peanut has a lot of admiration on you, because you are at this status, right? Basically, you do not need to stand in front of the booth and tell everyone about your new baby brand, Mono Origin.
I mean, they are not wrong. I mean, if it's, let's say 2 years ago, I really lost a lot of passion because I have not found a way forward. Now I've found a way forward, and what I'm doing is bigger than what the purpose of my company was. So I say the word was because Coffex will still move along the line of what we are known for, what we used to do, improving in small increments. Now we are, of course, heading towards ESG direction. But I want to move faster. I want to move with a greater velocity because there are a lot of pressing matters that needs addressing around the world that put our beloved coffee industry at risk. And hence, my new brand, hence my new vigor. I would say my passion has been reignited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you start this, before we discuss further about Mono Origin brand, right? Can I ask what makes you want to venture in this industry? 27 years ago, right? You were saying that you started the Coffex Coffee 27 years ago.
Yeah.
What makes you see the potential in this market?
Okay, I mean, like over the years, especially the last couple of years, last 2 years, we are facing rising costs. Coffee price has gone through a roof.
Yes.
Arabica has gone above 60% in the last 12 months. Robusta has gone up more than 100% in the last 12 months. And we don't know why. Many people don't know why.
Yeah.
Until I went to an impact seminar that was hosted and invited by our very long-term supplier, Fazenda Arbitral Fortaleza, which they invited me last year to come to Brazil and attend the impact seminar. Honestly, we have been doing business for 11 years and I've never stepped foot on the farm. I always wanted to, but thinking about the travel time to Brazil, 30 over hours, kind of put me off. I don't like traveling long distance, take long time, and I'm not a big fan of planes as well.
Yeah.
But they said, Kelvin, you have to attend this. It's very important. They re-invited me again this year, second time. I said, Kelvin, you have to come here. We're going to pay for your air ticket. We're going to pay for all your lodging. You just got to turn up. I cannot say no. So before that, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what they will host. I don't know what we will organize. But when I got there and went through the first day, second day, third day, I learned so much. I learned so much about the environment. I learned so much about carbon footprint. I learned so much about how typical farms and how a new way of farming can revolutionize the future in the coffee industry. Making better quality, producing better quality coffee, at the same time saving the environment. And hence saving environment means saving people. Because the environment have to exist before us living beings exist. So by saving environment means we are technically saving ourselves. And when we save ourselves, then we're also saving the industry that we hold dear to. And through this couple of days spent at the farm, it just opened my mind a lot. And after I've learned so much for the past few days in the farm, I came back wanting to, I want to have a desire to do something about it. Okay. Over the years, I think I I try to see what I can do better, how to do a business that's a bit more ethical in many sense, not just business for profit, but business for good.
Okay.
I couldn't find anything. It's difficult. So when I came back from this farm trip, then I realized that I can do a lot of good through coffee, through what I've been doing. And everything just click into place. And then action plan comes around. So we put this knowledge and put a brand together, I think within 2.5 months. Yeah.
Can you tell me about what's the definition of mono origin? How come the name come about? How did the name come about?
So mono is actually single.
Yeah, single.
Right? Single. We want to work with farmers. We want to work with farmers that are helping to make the environment a better place. So climate change has been the biggest problem, devastating the coffee industry. I mean, climate change has caused yields to drop. And before this trip in Brazil, I didn't know what caused all the price increase and what's happening. But I realized that because of the supply side has dropped, the yield has dropped, and the demand constantly are pretty high. It's just a supply demand issue. So when demand is high, supply is low, prices go up.
Yeah.
So that's what's been happening. And this not just happened in Brazil, but this also happened in other coffee producing countries. Yields has dropped. The temperature has increased and yields have dropped. And once yields are dropped, the income ability for farmers will be much lower, right? For the same effort, you're now producing less coffee. So yeah, this is what caused one of the main reason that caused all the price increase.
Okay. And how about the name come about, mono origin?
Okay, so we want to work with farms and we want to work with single origin.
Okay.
Right. So single origin has been the driving force.
Okay.
And over the years, everybody talk about specialty coffee, single origin specialty coffee.
That's right.
Right. So now what we are doing is we're still sourcing high quality single origin coffee, but in particular attach one more element to it, working with farms that contribute to mitigate climate change. So quality is still there, but at the same time doing more good.
Okay. All right. What about your starting story of Coffex Coffee? Do you mind to share about that 27 years?
Wow.
27 years ago, how did you foresee that the potential of this market? How did you start this business?
I could not foresee 27 years ago.
Okay.
But because I was living and studying in Melbourne for 7 years, so we got to experience and absorb the coffee culture.
Coffee culture, yeah.
In Australia, which is
that
also
was
known,
like 80s, 90s?
I would say from late 80s to 90s.
Okay.
So I was there. So I did high school and I did uni there. And we get to enjoy, I think, the Melbourne lifestyle.
Yeah.
Very much to do with coffee. And the market just grew and grew from a very traditional Italian coffee kind of industry to a highly experimental specialty coffee industry.
Okay.
So, and I like the idea. And when my family bought a little company called Coffex Coffee in Australia, I think 2 years after that, I started Coffex Coffee in Malaysia. We want to change the landscape in Malaysia, moving towards the direction of what Australia coffee culture is like. I think at the early stage when I was ordering a cappuccino here, there's hardly any cafe that serves cappuccino. You can only get it typically in a hotel.
Yeah, also like Dome, Italy Dome, the Italian cafe.
I think Dome also started more or less just after I started my business.
I see.
Yes, just started. And those days when you go to a hotel and you order a cappuccino, it was a black coffee with whipped cream. So that was that version. And then Dome started a little bit later. I don't know whether a lot of people remember there's a cafe called KLBC, KL Best Coffee. That's in Dalawi.
Okay.
Yeah, that also took off with a more modern way of coffee being presented into the market in the full-blown cafe with a lot of variety of coffee as well. Then there's also Benson Hedges.
Benson is just, I thought it's a cigarette, right?
Yeah, but they did a cafe. They did a cafe in Life Center. Model like Dome, they have many different variety on the wall which you can order.
Okay, like the Life Center as in opposite of Shangri-La Hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So those were the early people that was
During the 90s, right?
during the 90s.
Okay. And were you like started off? I don't think you started off with roastery, right? I think you started off with selling machines and what were your products at the time?
I started off importing coffee. And in order to showcase what the coffee quality is like, I have to carry a little Gajah machine, acting like a door-to-door salesman to restaurants.
Do you mean Gajah
cafe.
Classic?
No,
home
Gajah
machine?
Baby, even a lower end model.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made coffee for restaurateurs to try, cafe owners to try, just to convince them that we can serve better quality coffee. But then, after a while doing that, life was very tough. If you want to calculate how many cafes you need to go through to get them to just buy a small consumption, that's a lot of hard work.
Were there a lot of competitors in terms of coffee bean supplier?
No, there wasn't. So I think those days, Lavazza was under a different company. They were already existing in the market. There were also Bon Cafe. They were already existing in the market. And I think at that time, there's also another local roasted coffee company called Hoka. So I think four of us more or
Hoka
less.
is from Switzerland, right?
No, Malaysia. Hoka.
Oh, really? I think Switzerland is the owner right now.
No,
Swiss.
that's a Hako.
Hako, yeah. Damn.
It's a different
So
company.
sorry, yeah. Hako, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, those days, there's not many companies that are roasting locally here. And Lavazza don't roast locally, neither does Bon Cafe. So, Hoka does. Hoka does. And, yeah.
So you were selling like imported whole beans, right? To the hotels.
Yeah. So we were importing roasted whole beans from Australia, from our factory in Australia. And we realized that the growth is going to be very slow. So we decided machines need to come into play because machine give you a good jolt of cash flow. So me and one of my other salesperson, we are tasked to let's sell two commercial machines, each of us. So like 4 in a month. And that would enable us to give a nice little healthy cash flow job while we continue building the consumable coffee side of things.
Okay. What was the first machine that you're selling? What's the brand?
Vega is something that we distributed. I think first brand we distributed. And that time my first customer was actually Hard Rock Cafe. So I remember installing the machine into Hard Rock on the Christmas Eve.
I see.
Yeah.
Should be very tough, right? Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve
should be very busy.
Yeah. Very busy. So I was one of the installer. I have another technician which we hired that used to work with me on my previous business, high-end audio equipment. So he repaired amplifiers, he repaired CD players and stuff. So I convinced him to join me on this journey of coffee.
Okay.
It's completely new to industry.
Okay. Yeah. So Vega still with you today, right now. So during the first machine until right now, they're still with you.
Yes.
Yeah, but then along the way, of course, you carry more other brands, right?
Yeah.
Like Ferrazzato, the Slayer Espresso is famously.
Yes.
Slayer Espresso and Kees Van Der Westen. And what do you see in those brands that you wish to carry them into the market? That like Slayer Espresso is like super expensive coffee machine, right?
Yes.
Everybody has to agree on that.
Yeah. So if you ask us to even market or sell high-end machines at the early stage, I would say there's hardly any client. There's hardly anybody. But because of the barista competition and because we are all pursuing specialty coffee, how to get quality better into the cafe. I think you ask the competition barista, they have a lot to play in this part. And because they want to serve high quality coffee in the cafe or in the workplace, they typically are also in demanding higher end equipment because they want to also present themselves in a way that in order to be credible, aesthetically, everything in the cafe needs to be of a particular standard or above. Yeah. So to convince customers that we invest in great equipment, you can visibly see we are not going to skim on the quality of coffee. So it's
to compete as well, right?
Yeah, it's to complement.
All right.
Because in order for you to go cafe, if you don't see a nice machine, how do you know they have great coffee in it? Right? You can't from walking past a cafe. It's just like a grinder. Typically, when you walk past a cafe, you see a Malhkonig EK43. You know it's a specialty coffee shop.
Yeah.
A typical normal coffee shop would not have an EK43 in there.
That's right.
So it's just telling you a message that we have great coffee. Yeah. It's just a relationship manner.
Okay. And in which year did you started your roastery?
Well, I can't really recall. I think it would be in the early 2000s. I think I dabble in coffee roasting because we have a historical machine that was unused in a warehouse in Australia. And said, since you're not using it, Coffex first roaster, send it to Malaysia. Let me have a go at it.
What was the brand for that?
It's a Petrochini.
Petrochini.
Yeah, it's a Petrochini.
What capacity is it? 5? 5
It
kilo?
was 30 kg. It was a 30 kg
Well,
Petrochini.
that's quite a size, 30 kg.
Yeah, I think that time, if you want to learn roasting, there's no YouTube, and you can't simply just learn from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I had to spend a lot of time dabbling around with it, getting it to run, getting the roaster to run correctly. I think if in today's standard, what I was doing then is constitute like not roasting but baking coffee.
Baking coffee.
Yeah. The temperature was not right. Yeah. So I think a roast will take me roughly about 25 minutes or so. So yeah, I mean in today's terms, it's called baking coffee, it's not roasting coffee.
But with modern technology, right? I've tried very good so-called baked coffee with Dutch master from Peanuts. He purposely roasted and demoed the machine to us that the machine able to cap at 200 degrees Celsius. The first crack probably 18 minutes during the processes. The whole thing is like 25 minutes. But it tasted very good the next day.
It's a different profile. So if you're baking coffee rather than roasting. So your internal, I would say cooking or internal, and the external are very close in terms of entron color.
Yeah.
So which means that the nuances, the acidity, the fruitiness will all be much lesser.
Yeah.
Because when you measure entron, you're measuring the surface of the bean.
Yeah.
And then plus the other part is ground. So you don't have a delta. So the delta is extremely close. So the color of the surface of the whole bean and then
the
color
inside,
ground.
Yeah, it's
more or
almost
less
identical.
Similar. Yeah. Very similar.
That's the big, right?
That's big. Not to say there's no application. There is application. I mean, typically a lot of people will do this for dark roast and you complement milk. But if you are drinking as espresso or drinking as black coffee, you are missing all the nuances and complexity.
Yeah, the acidity is brightness. Yeah. And how's your experience on learning roasting? Is that the machine that you started off learning with 30 kilo? I don't think it's a good idea for a newbie to learn from 30 kilo. Yeah, in terms of quantity, you waste a lot of beans. You know, even if let's say right now I have 1 kilo of roaster, I'm still wasted a lot of beans just to learn.
Yeah.
So how is your learning? How did you cope with it? How did you did you have a mentor or what?
No, a lot of wasting.
A lot
of wasting. Really a lot of wasting. But I think during that time also we already started a business into the hotel market. And hotel market are not very high, not very demanding in terms of nuances, quality. You know, ultimately it's all about price and a particular flavor that there's within acceptance in in a hotel, because I think the best seller is definitely a filter coffee
Okay.
from bulk brewer.
The batch brew.
The batch brew.
Yeah.
Correct. So as long as it tastes decent from a batch brew, I think that's what counts.
Okay. And how long that you really, after the first you received the roaster from Australia, then how long that you can consider, okay, I got it this time, like I put in 30 kilo, I still got it.
I don't get it. I didn't get it. So then I think a couple of years later, I think maybe 2 or 3 years later, we started to look into a new machine. And then we found Victoria in Barcelona. And Victoria was also part of the, I think, Petrocini, which they broke away. So one family went to Spain and then started Victoria. And we contacted them, we went to visit them. And then those days, I thought I knew a bit of roasting. So we got them to customize
May I know which year was
software.
that?
I
90s,
can't remember.
also
I think
90s.
would be in definitely into 2000s. I think
Okay.
would be about 2006 or 7.
Okay. All right.
Around that time. And so the funny thing is, we got them to customize a software for roasting based on what I know. The software was totally unusable.
That time wasn't any artisan roasting software.
No.
No,
I
haven't
think
born
a
yet.
lot of things have not born yet. I mean, unless you're looking at a very high-end equipment, things like 30 kg, 60 kg, is still pretty much manual roasting. So, and you talk to even roasters at those days, they don't have a data set they're equipped with. A lot of them are roasting things by experience and by feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, in which year that we are having a lot of programs coming out, the roasting programs? 2010 and above onwards?
I believe maybe about 2000. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe 2010. Start software in roasting to assist your roasting start to appear. And I think it helps. All this data helps modern roasters to be more consistent, to have many checkpoints that they can control power of the roaster to achieve the result that they are looking for.
Okay. And in which year did you started to roast specialty coffee?
In which year?
Yeah. Is that about 2015 or like you I believe you have a 5 kilo roaster, right? Special for use dedicated that roaster for specialty coffee.
Yeah. So
that is Probat.
Probat. We
Probat,
have
right?
a Probat 5.
Yeah.
Probat 5. When we started a little sort of JV concessionary with Band Independent Grocer, we were running Plan B for them, Plan B roaster at the Paprika.
That was a long time ago, right?
Yeah. So they consulted us and we recommend them to purchase a Probat. And then we were running the outfit for 4 years, maybe 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never roast over there. Am I right?
No, we roast.
Oh, your roast.
My team was working there
Okay.
to roast all the single origin.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I was quite often be there, then they were never used the roaster, never seen them roast.
Yeah. I think that was after our contract ended.
I see.
So then they didn't activate the roaster.
The roaster.
They didn't continue with the roaster. So it was just like sitting there.
Yeah. For quite some time.
Quite some time.
For quite some time. Before right now it's been revamped into Kenny Hills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you started off roasting, then you started off in venturing your Probat specialty coffee roast.
Yeah.
What is your favorite in terms of your favorite to roast beans that that you started so many years already? That when you throw in, when you have a selection of beans, right, you always go back to roast that beans.
I don't think we have a favorite bean that we roast. We do try to have many varieties.
You see?
But of course, many variety means procure and also roast
Try and error.
beans that are like that, origins that they are like.
Okay.
They are from Brazil, Guatemala, Ethiopia, Kenya, Honduras, El Salvador. So these are name of a few that origins that we enjoy drinking. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of modern processes, experimental processes. I tend to just like wash coffee, classic wash coffee.
Wash, natural.
Natural somewhat. I know Malaysians, I think Asians like natural, but my inclination is
Washed.
wash coffee because I can taste a little bit more nuances of flavors through the wash coffee process.
More transparent.
More transparent, cleaner cup. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, you have this mono origin, right? Can you tell me about what's your next big plan for your mono origin? Would you have planning for retail? Because just now you were discussing on the
Yes.
for the online store.
Yes.
What's your next plan for your mono origin?
So there's a few ways we can activate mono. So we can consolidate coffee for people. So we're already buying large quantity, like most of the time in container from various origin. We want to help micro roasters or customers save some cost. So if you're a micro roaster, I think one of the biggest factor is how am I going to order efficiently, right? It's very difficult. So typically we will buy from a trader that's nearby.
Yeah.
There's very hard for them to order from origin because if you order too small, you got to pay air freight. Air freight costs a lot. And you cannot also have loose cargo container coming in Malaysia because the cargo needs to be fumigated by quarantine department. So if you don't have a container to commit, it's going to be very difficult for you. So while we already have a container to commit, so why don't I offer this to micro roasters? Hang on, I have a container, it's already coming here. I'm going to save you at least a lot of money when it comes to logistic, at least 700%. Tag along.
Okay, it's okay.
And ride together with us to save costs. Ride together with save costs. And you're buying at the same price what we are buying at. So we'll bring down your costs tremendously. Again, with working with Origin means we have the ability to sample those coffee, cup those coffee right after it's being milled. That means the freshest crop after it's milled is sent here. We decide to what we want to buy. Cafes can order 1 bag, 2 bag, 10 bags, 20 bags, entirely up to them, and ride along with my shipment to save costs. So through this program also, I help them save some money in terms of the price, buying power, and also logistic costs is being saved. So you get to enjoy it by everyone.
So you're trying to help the micro roasters to get the best quality of green beans and also
Safe
at the
environment.
cheaper cost.
Yeah, safe environment because ultimately we are saving a carbon footprint through logistic.
Okay.
The other way they can also support our mono project is engaging us to roast the coffee for them. For some cafes that don't own a coffee roastery, we can work with them so they can have a packaging for, let's say, Acme Coffee Company. Coffee purchased through mono origin ethically sourced project can be labeled. So you want them to tag along with all the good things that we are doing. Thirdly, we'll be coming up with a lot of merchandise that are sustainable merchandise. Could be upcycle, could be recycle, could be repurposed things. To continue with the message of what mono origin is trying to do.
I see. Your tagline is ethically sourced coffee,
Yes.
right? Can you explain a little bit about this to the audience? Like, what does it mean? Like,
Okay. So we do have a checkpoint or 27 checklist checkpoint that touches into environment. So what are the good practices the farm are doing? What are the practices the farm are doing? Whether they are saving water, they are doing a program to help reduce pollution, they are planting more trees, they are farming without chemicals. they can be going towards regenerative farming. So all these are good to look after the environment. Then there's also another part of the checklist that looks after the social aspect to ensure that there's no human exploitation at the farm. There's no women abuse.
There's no child labor.
There's no child labor.
There's no slave labor.
There's all these checklists are there. And then of course, then the last part is, are the people also access to education? Do they have education programs on ground? Do they have access to financing? So all these 27 checkpoints are there for the farmers to declare. So not necessary, it's verifiable at this point in time, unless we do surprise checks. At the same time, we are also engaging an organization called Veritas. So they are an NGO that do assurances, ethical, sustainable assurances, that they actively will go into particular areas and farms to conduct their own checks. And they do have a data set of things that we can pay. That means customers pay in these instances rather than the farm pay. Certification is farm pay. Like, for example, fair trade, for example, rainforest, the farmers need to pay for this certification.
Okay.
And this certification also does not ensure things are ethical, because once this auditor leaves, what goes on at the back, we don't know.
Okay.
So doesn't mean that if you don't have certification, Mono can't work with you. No. Unless if you can prove that you have an on-ground programs and evidence of what you do, we can work with you. Then on the 27 checkpoint checklist, we can see where the things you are vulnerable, where you are things that you need improving on. Over time, we also can connect people that will help you along that line.
I see.
So how to help you ensure that little step by little step to make you a bit more sustainable and more ethical.
Okay. So far, how many countries like engaging, like you're already engaging with? I believe like last time we met at the 1U Coffee Fest, Kenya Embassy was there.
Kenya, Brazil, Honduras is coming, Indonesia, Colombia is coming next, Costa Rica is coming next, El Salvador is coming next.
So list of countries for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we started off with a few, but I think there's momentum is very good now.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of people, there are a lot of people wanting to support what we do. I think why we're getting a lot of support of what we do is, I think people are like me earlier. We want to do good, but don't know how. Since we are championing a path towards that, I think many of my customers say, hang on, he's doing it, I want to support it. Instead of them finding a solution to start, I've already started this, and they just want to ride along together with us and to support the cause of what we want to achieve.
It's good that you're a trendsetter then. And may I ask, right, who are your target audience? Are those like your hotel clients? Are those like your cafe clients? Or are those like restaurants? Or your Mono Origin specifically is much more into home brewers or home baristas? Or is it like a little bit of all?
It's definitely a little bit of all, but I think the initial driving force towards this was definitely in the hotels and multinationals. I think a lot of these multinational corporations are already going through an ESG direction. How to work in a more sustainable manner, how to conserve water, how to manage waste, how to make the planet a better place. I think that's what the bottom line is. So these large corporations are already having internal programs moving towards an ESG direction. But I think initially we were here just to want to comply. But after my farm visit, it's not about compliance. I think it's now about us believing that we want to really contribute to helping the planet. And I think through this genuineness and passion of what we want to do, it will help. The the company. It will help our customers achieve with us.
Okay, understand. So that's talk that one is like your retail, right? And your supply and retail target audience. What about will you have the retail physical store? Just now we were mentioning that you will have already in plan for online store right now. Would you have like a retail physical store or I don't know, cafe?
Yes.
What?
So in short-term future plans, some of these cafes that we're working with, they will carry our product to the cafe, because that's also to showcase that they are sourcing ethically together with us. Then we'll have academy coming up, the Mono Academy. I think more details will be coming soon.
Okay.
It's going to be more than just barista training. I think there's a lot of things that we need to address in terms of future skill set training, future people interaction training. There's many other training that's going to fall within this Mono Academy. A lot of sustainability training as well. How to consciously do things, how to consciously live your life in a more sustainable manner.
I see.
Every step you do contributes to improving the planet.
Okay. That we can expect 2025 or
Yes, 2025.
Q2,
So
Q3, Q4?
you're looking at about Q1, Q2. The whole academy will be built using sustainable material.
I see.
The whole academy. Yeah.
Like how does sustainable material for espresso machine?
We are driving. We are trying to influence and drive the manufacturers of coffee machines
Okay.
to look into a more sustainable product.
Okay.
Whether they use recycled plastic, recycle metal, more sustainable way to manage the power of the equipment. Yeah, along that lines. I think recently, last week, I was just in Singapore, and already I saw some equipment that has a ESG label into it.
Okay.
Yeah, then I probe further, what do you mean by ESG? So the material of a machine are all can be recycled.
Can I take this very similar with Volvo approach to the EV cars, that everything inside is recyclable materials?
Yes, I
There's
think
no animal materials, all vegan and recyclable?
Yes, I think some of these machine manufacturers are already taking these steps, because many of them are based in Europe, and Europe they are
So strict on this, right?
quite strict on this now. They're requiring many companies to under the EUDR laws to operate.
Will this drive the price up?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Technically, if you are using a lot of recycled product, so people are expecting like, hey, why is a recycled product cost more? Technically, there's a lot of process to recycle a product into another usable form. So there's a lot of costs involved in that process as well. So don't expect things to be cheaper, but at least on par or if not higher. So that's the expectation.
I see. Any possible that you will review the espresso machine names that is ESG that you're looking at to partner with? Perhaps?
Some of them we do not know, that we do not carry at this point in time, but we definitely are looking into them in possibility in the future, carrying some of them.
Yeah.
So if let's say at my Mono Academy, and we're going to have a little functional cafe for our Mono Academy as well. The equipment that we source, it has to carry some form of sustainability element to it.
So that means not necessarily the brands that you're carrying, Coffex Coffee is carrying, could be you just buying directly from manufacturer because of the ESG.
Yeah, we are open.
Yeah.
We are open. Not necessarily based on what we are already carrying. We are open.
I see. So you will have a retail, a physical retail and also academy. Then after that, what's next for when you set up the whole thing? So that means all this can be established in 2025.
Yes.
Then what's next? Do you want to do more than that?
I wouldn't say what's next. Yeah. So there are a lot of other things that I'm already doing behind the scenes. We are already trying to encourage a lot of farmers, especially around the region, which I'm part of the ASEAN Coffee Federation. I'm the vice president. So I'm trying to influence coffee producing country in ASEAN because I'm very passionate because I sit within this area. Two of the largest producer in the world, two of the top four are in ASEAN.
Okay. Indonesia.
Indonesia and
Vietnam.
Indonesia and Vietnam. So Vietnam is the second largest producer of coffee in the world, and Indonesia is the fourth largest coffee producer in the world. So two of them are already sitting in ASEAN, and I would like to influence ASEAN coffee producer to look into different forms of farming, especially towards regenerative farming methods. So regenerative farming methods over time requires less water. The farm will be more resilient when climate change comes about. There are already evidence I've seen in just as recent as last month in Brazil, where there were 150 days without rain. So a conventional farm, I've seen pictures, there's almost dying.
It's called drought, right?
Drought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in contrast with a regenerative model farm, they are thriving, they are flowering.
What's regenerative farming?
Regenerative farming is how to farm using Mother Earth as your ally. So in order to just put it in a way, traditional farming is called farming of death, and regenerative is a farming of life.
Okay.
So what do you mean by farming of death? So farming of death means you typically are conventional. You use a lot of pesticides, chemicals, fertilizer, and all you want to do is just to nutrify your trees. And you are trying using pesticides to remove all the pests. Because you are running as a monoculture, there'll be a lot of pests and there's no natural enemy. Once you have pesticide, means you're trying to wipe off every living insect within that environment, right? But through regenerative farming, you're no longer requiring the use or reduce, at least for the start, to convert, reducing the requirement of using chemical pesticide, reducing the frequency of herbicide or even chemical fertilizer. So you are trying to use bacteria, fungi, to make an environment that is holistic. So back to like a forest. And your natural pest has also natural enemies, like bees, like ladybirds and stuff like that, will manage itself. So let Mother Nature become your friend and ally to manage your farm with you. Right. So typical normal farms will use chloride potassium. Chlorine sterilizes your land. So sterilizing your land means there's nothing
left.
growing there. There's nothing left.
Non-fertile.
So then non-fertile, and then the other nutrients in your fertilizer will just be enough to be nutrifying your trees.
Yeah.
Right. So if you use a conventional farming, you have a lot of exposed land. So exposed lands also have a higher surface temperature. But using regenerative farming, you are using mulch, you're using biochar, you're using topsoil covers. You retain a lot of moisture below ground. And you're introducing a lot of bacteria, microorganisms. It's just like the whole city below the surface.
Yeah, below the soil, right?
Yeah. And then it will make the soil very nutrient rich itself. So Mother Nature is helping you to produce enough nutrients for your tree. And you don't require, over time, you will not require any more of this chemical stuff.
Yeah. Like, how did you learn all this?
Yeah, from a farm visit. From a farm visit, that's
I did farm visit as well. I don't learn this.
Yeah.
Maybe they are the Thai people. They don't
But you
speak
can't
English.
go to a conventional farm. So you need to be going to a farm that already practicing this method.
I see.
So over time, you can see results. Even like bees, what they did with bees is that they cover a certain part of the farm so that the bees don't pollinate the flowers. And then certain part of farm, they allow the bees to pollinate the flowers. And the result was quite astonishing because the part where the bees was pollinating the flowers, the yield were much higher than the ones that they were preventing the bees from pollinating the flowers.
I see.
So bees are very important. But if you are in a typical farm where you use a lot of pesticides,
Mm.
the bee will not be there,
Yeah.
right?
I think nothing will be there also.
Nothing will be there.
Yeah.
So if you walk in those farms, you hear silence.
Mm.
So last year I visited durian farm
Yeah.
with
Where is it? Pahang?
in Bedong Rao,
Okay.
Hernan's farm
Okay.
with the founder, Dato' Anayo.
Mm.
And she said a lot of people want her to manage a farm. And then she shared with us that if she walks in a farm and she hears silence, she walks away.
Okay.
So I didn't know what it meant at the time. But after my farm visit with this, I know what it all meant. Because when you walk in a farm that is silent,
Dead silent.
dead silent is farm of death, which means you use a lot of chemicals and pesticide, and there's no insect, there's no bees, there's nothing. And that's dangerous. And just imagine, if you put a lot of chemical in your plant, a lot of pesticide, you end up into the fruit. And who are consuming the fruit? We are consuming fruit. And all these chemical residual that's left in the fruit are bad for our health.
Yeah.
Very bad for our health.
Okay. Understand. So it seems like you're very passionate about this in terms of talking about all this, right? So, which I never have opportunity to learn. Then next, I want to ask you about your personal question. What fuels your passion?
I think helping
What motivates you?
what motivates us.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say as a business person, money doesn't motivate me,
Yeah.
but it's no longer my priority. I think helping my industry mitigate risk is what's motivating me now. So we want to be an industry that's still going to have businesses as a coffee industry. Because through coffee industry, it's incredible. You meet a lot of people. People will become your longtime friends. People will meet people through a cup of coffee. And it's about connectivity. And just imagine if this whole industry is at risk and coffee will become a luxury. What happens to this connectivity? What happened to a lot of cafes? What happened to a lot of producers? All of us will be under threat. All of us will be under risk, and I don't wish that to happen.
So
And that's what's fueling me now.
That's why your shoulders are carrying with this mission right now.
Yeah, I do what I can. I do as much as I can. I hope to inspire you to also do something about it as well.
I am very inspired by you, actually, to be honest. And also, I wanted to ask also, is there, because you're the first person who tell me about this in terms of coffee, ESG in terms of coffee, do things good for the Mother Nature. I think you're the only one that I know currently that you're doing this. Is there anybody else in this world in terms of coffee that are doing this as well?
I think that a lot of us are just starting, are just learning this, or are just called awaken about this. And a couple of days ago, there was a webinar on regenerative farming. I think there were thousands of people attending that webinar. All these are great signs and great indication that some people do care. And these people, once they have the heart to care, if they learn a little bit more, they will become like me. Advocates to save Mother Nature. Advocate to think about environment first. Because humans don't come first. Environment comes first. Once you have an environment that are sustainable, all life will happen. Right?
Yeah.
So everything has to be in balance. Once it's out of balance, chaos, disaster, all the crazy floods, all the wild winters, all the cold, extreme winters,
Hurricane.
extreme summers, hurricane, all these are happening as you can see. But for those who are non-believers, will think this is just normal. It is not normal. Yeah, a lot of things are contributed to climate change and our human activities. Just imagine if we continue to increase our population, what happens? More trees will be chopped down because we need to urbanize. Right?
More place to stay.
More houses, and what are houses compared to trees? Trees gives oxygen. Trees cools down the earth. Houses don't. Houses are made of concrete. It's heat. And then the people living there, like in a hot environment, we have an aircon, more heat to just cool down the place. Roads you build, surface, heat. So the more we urbanize, the more we industrialize, we are contributing to heating the planet. And again, more trees are chopped to urbanize. You just get worse from here. So if you look at the carbon graph, it's almost going vertical. I don't know when it will stop. When will be a time when Mother Earth will say, "I had enough of you guys." You know,
Great flood.
yeah, wipe you up.
All right, cool. And also, because you're a coffee person, I'm very curious. You're a roaster. You're also a coffee person. You make yourself coffee. Does your home has any coffee machine? For me, I do not have any coffee machine at home. My machines are here.
I think, of course, I have. It's also a little toy, little time. I learn more, especially during COVID times where I do learn a lot.
Yeah, most of the time we're at home, so that you spend more.
Yeah.
What machine do you have? Do you mind to share?
I think for espresso machine, I have a Liva machine. I have a Profitec Liva machine. So I think people who want to understand coffee should at least try to have an experience in a Liva machine.
Lever machine, yeah.
Yeah, that's how espresso started, through a Liva machine.
Traditional style.
Yeah, and recently I've also purchased a filter machine called Fellow Sdn, which I love very much.
Fellow Aiden.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a filter machine.
that's a filter machine.
So-called batch brewer, but it's not.
Yes, it's a more sophisticated kind of batch brewer, so it technically can mimic
Human pouring.
world competition barista level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a good machine, and I can make a cup. I can make 5-6 cups without a sweat,
Okay.
and they produce very high quality end result.
Okay, that's cool. The next question I want to ask you, what is your dream roaster machine, if you have? If money is not a problem. Of course, money is not a problem to you, but
Money is always a problem.
but for consumable roasting machine, could be home roasting machine, could be industrial machine, could be 5 kilo.
Yeah,
What is the dream machine you always wanted to take?
I think recently I just replaced a very old sample roaster, which I had for, I think, 15-20 years.
What's the brand for a sample
So
roaster?
Victoria Roaster is one I had, but it's been dead and repaired and brought back to life again for many times. So I think recently I said, okay, I think we have one too many repairs already. So recently we bought a roast.
The
roast.
Victoria that you mentioned just now? Oh,
Victoria.
Okay.
So when we bought the large machine, they gave us a small one, sample roaster. So recently we bought a roast.
Roast from Tim Wenderbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we love it very much. It has the ability to auto roast and auto discharge. It also has the ability to watch a lot of roast curve, a lot of control. So yeah, we love that very much. I wish I can have one at home too, but I think it's not necessary. I think my wife's sitting here, and I don't think you want to have smoke, smell coffee in my house.
Does that in your office has equipped with a microphone for detecting the
Yes.
first crack?
Yes.
I see.
So you can have first crack detection, and then you can set it how many cracks you want it to detect before it discharge.
I see. So can I say that roast is definitely your favorite machine up to right now?
I think
In
for
terms
a
of-
lab machine, yes.
What about for the machine that you still not your process yet?
I would like to have a hand on they recently recently produced a 3 kg roaster, batch roaster. I've not had a chance to use it.
Which brand is that?
Roast.
Roast? Do they have 3 kg?
Yeah, they just launched a 3 kg like
Months
maybe
ago.
a couple of months ago. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And they have very good support. You can write to them, ask them questions. They are pretty responsive.
I see.
Yeah.
So roast
Roast, and of course in the larger machines, I love my ProBuds.
Probat.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, ProBuds is like a Rolex watch, right? So you can invest in a ProBat and it retains its value, and it's always has a demand. Even if you want to upgrade to other machine, you want to sell off the machine. There's always a demand for it. There's always a customer willing to
Pay for it.
pay for it.
Pay for it.
So unlike some of the lesser known machines, every time you want to get rid of it, and no one wants.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
So Loring is another machine that I look up to, but it's always tough to justify because
The price.
the price point. The price point, but it's a very highly sustainable machine because the emissions are much lower.
Yeah.
You can even have the machine set up in a housing estate, shopping mall, and the
There's
emissions
no
are low.
smoke at all.
Yes.
There's no smoke at all.
But the profiles are a bit different. So typically a Loring will give you a very clean, transparent profile.
Yeah.
So if you are doing a lot of a single origin, I think yes, by all means, investigate into that. The ProBat will give you a bit more body and
Yeah,
stuff.
because of conduction, right?
Yeah. So all depends what you're trying to achieve.
Achieve, yeah. All right, we are at the 1 hour at the mark. And anything else you wish to share?
Yeah, keep a lookout more on the mono brand and what we do. I think over this, in the near future, we'll be conducting a lot of collaboration with other sustainable companies. Probably a lot more events, talking, and also presenting a lot of what sustainability means to the planet. And join forces with many companies to make the world a better place.
Right.
We are definitely very passionate about the coffee industry, and I think in the near future we'll be working with a lot of company, especially supporting companies for the coffee industry, like how to make sustainable cups. Especially waste is a big problem, like packaging. Sustainable packaging is a problem. Sustainable cups, takeaway cups is also a current problem. So this is something we want to tackle and work with specialists in this sector.
Understand. Anyway, thanks for coming, Kelvin. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
All right,
So
take care, everyone.
It's a pleasure. So all good, everybody. Help us save the environment.
Sure. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Audio.